Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Believe in Bears. I'm Joey Christopoulos with my co-host Corey Wotton. We're coming at you with an amazing episode in about 30 seconds. But first, we got to talk about our sponsor, BetOnline.ag. And BetOnline, it's the #1 source for all your football betting needs this season because they have the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. It's your continuous source for all the giveaways all this season with free contests, live scores, live in-game betting, all the good stuff. So what are you waiting for? Head to BetOnline.ag to join. Receive a 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get that 100% welcome bonus and receive that reward. BetOnline, where the game starts. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming into the pod, wherever you're coming in from it, whether it's on YouTube, comment and question below, whether you're checking us out on TuneIn, SiriusXM, Apple Podcasts, or at BLEAV.com. Thank you so much for coming in. I am Joey Christopoulos. We are very happy right here in the Bears neighborhood right now, so let's bring in our co-host, former Bears defensive end, Fox 32 Zone, CHGO's very own, a man who's a friend to all, and a man who I'm going to say that my dad wants to just say hello, Corey. Welcome to the pod, and my dad says hello.
Oh, how's it going, Mr. Christopoulos?
Big C.
How you doing? How you doing out there, man?
Big C played golf today, too, and real quick,
did he?
He three-putted 2 of the last 4 holes that he played on the 18-hole course. So life could be better.
He's feeling my pain too. I had the same thing the other day. You know, I was about to break 80 and I had the old 3-putt. Can't do it. But I mean, the one good thing though is the Bears offense and Justin Fields are looking pretty dang good. So it's great to see with how the season started, Joey. We were really down on Luke Getsy, really not game planning and scripting for success for Justin Fields. But the past 4 weeks, it's been a complete 180. Right, he's actually doing what Justin Fields is comfortable with. His play calling, you know, what Darnell Mooney called genius-like. We're seeing that, and this tandem, you know, I'm hoping they just continue things, and it just makes me really excited for the future because limited offensive line, trying to get the weapons figured out. I know Claypool, they signed him, but he's still trying to get things figured out. I'm really excited, you know, and then you look at you know, a tight end, you know, what we're doing. Cole Kmet is really coming into his own in the red zone. What we talked about, how he's got to be critical in the red zone. The past 2 weeks, we've seen that. So everything that we talked about in the season, like I said from the beginning, right? Allow Justin Fields to use his feet, allow him to run, right? And his passing stats aren't going to be crazy, right? Look at last game, I think 129 passing yards. But the biggest difference is he is a difference maker out there, right? He got what is it? NFC Player of the Week, I believe. Offensive Player of the Week. But this is what we thought for Justin Fields, and now it's coming to fruition. We're seeing it, and it just makes me excited for the future, especially next year when they have the draft picks, the capital to go out and get some weapons. So offensively, I'm very excited about that. But defensively, oh my goodness.
Watch out. Good luck, Chuck. Not to quote Corey Wotton, but man.
Good luck, Chuck. It's been awful. Honestly, it really has. Like lack of pressure and it's trading away Quinn, trading away Roquan Smith. I mean, those are some big shoes to fill in there. So next year, like, you could potentially make an argument that we have more needs on the defensive line and linebacking core than on the offense for sure. You know, I know we need to get weapons for Justin Fields, but defensively, that's my number one thing right now.
Dude, if you remember, we talked about it on the podcast last year as Matt Nagy was being ushered out the door. I brought up the thing, and we talked about it for a while, that the biggest transition that this team's going to be going through isn't going to be offensively. It's going to be defensively. And the problem is that it's happening really swiftly because you are trading away so many pieces from a defense that we thought was a pretty solid, if not elite defense at times, up and down, whatever you want to call it. But now we're at that point. And Corey, let's talk about it offensively real quick. I want to dig in on JF1 because this is just so much fun right now. The first one is, I think in general with Matt Nagy last year and then through the first 4 games this year was the emotion that I think Bears fans have had their whole lives of confusion. Why are we not doing this? Why does it look like that? Is there any possible hope? And then the second one that we talked about here on the pod too previously is you talk a lot about Luke Getsy. And when Luke Getsy came into the Chicago Bears organization in the offseason, he said, we're going to build this offense together. We're going to build it from scratch, and we're going to figure out what we do well, what we don't do well, and we're going to try and put that into the game plan. Through the first 4 weeks, Corey, it didn't look like that. But just go a little bit further, man. I mean, it's really a team that's maturing before our very eyes, right? Offensively. And you've been in those locker rooms. You've been on a team. Have you ever been on a team that started at a certain point and you went, oh, man, this is bad? But a team that was able to mature, progress, and execute to the point to get to this kind of level. You ever seen this kind of arc before on a team?
It's not a team I've been a part of, right? Usually the teams I've been a part of when we were really rocking and doing well, we were consistent throughout the whole season. But this is just great to see because this offense couldn't have been any worse the first couple weeks.
Historically worse.
Historically worse. Like these passing yards. The only good thing we were doing was running the football, right? We looked at the pressure by the defensive lines on our offensive line, and Justin Fields was getting hit and all this, and then all of a sudden, just this turnaround of Luke Getsy saying, "Okay, how am I going to protect the offensive line?" Just like we've been saying, right? Let's get Justin Fields on the run. Let's do some of these zone reads. Let's do some of these design runs for Justin Fields. Oh, okay, let's work some play action as well off of that once he starts getting running. And then, hey, let's have Justin Fields one-on-one on a defensive end because every time he's going to beat him. Like I always say, good luck, Chuck. And then it's just everything that we talked about. And I said, this is going to be the game plan for Justin Fields going forward. And if he does that, he will make an impact. And the stats won't woo and wow you passing-wise, but his impact. He was responsible for what, 5 touchdowns last week? Was it 4 or 5?
4 total,
4.
three passing, 3 passing, 1 rushing. Yeah. But he's now, I think he's got 7 or 8 in his last 2 games. It's a lot.
Exactly. So everyone that wants to say, oh, he still can't pass the ball and all this, his passing was efficient. And you can't ask for anything more than that, right? Stats only mean so much, right? But when you talk about throwing touchdowns, leading drives, sustaining drives, controlling the time possession, all the things that we talked about earlier in the year, in the offseason, for how the Bears are going to stay in games consistently. And that's what they've been doing. That's great to see, but it's just the defense has been struggling. Anytime you put up 30-something points on anybody, you should win the game. Yeah. Defensively, it's been awful, right? And our strength has been the defensive backs, right? They've been doing a great job. But they're kind of handcuffed right now because if you don't have a defensive line that can generate pressure, you're not dialing up blitzes, you can't cover all day. So you have to be softer in your coverage. So early on, Miami, the Cowboys, they picked them apart, with those 7-8 yard slants, 10-yard ends, because they're so far off because they're worried about the pressure. So it's tough right now with everything. So going forward, Alan Williams, you really have to get that blitz package out. I thought against the run, they looked a lot better, but Miami, they're not going to run the football. But he's got to do a better job of getting pressure because it's handcuffing the defensive backs. And then all of a sudden, on 3rd and 5, we can't play tight coverage because we're worrying about, Tua or Jared Goff or whoever having all day back there. So we can't get that done. Alan Williams has to get that corrected. And, take a page of Luke Getsy's, right? We don't have some of the weapons. We don't have some of that other teams have. But you find a way to get it done, whether it's bringing more pressure with linebacker, bringing corner blitz, bringing a safety blitz, bringing some stunts. We need more of something because this is not working defensively. It has been awful.
Corey, when you're talking about the offense right now in the passing game, which we all know is a little bit limited, right, due to the talent in the wide receiver room, but also, Justin Fields probably averages maybe 14 to 17, 18 pass attempts a game. But look at it, though. He's still averaging – the Chicago Bears are 13th in the NFL in yards per attempt on a pass. It's 7.1, right? That's solid. So when they are taking their shots, this isn't check down city, Chicago Bears fans. So why don't you just slow your roll a little bit on the whole Justin Fields can't throw the ball thing, which he might actually do a little bit of this coming Sunday, but I don't want to step on our Corey's keys at all at this point. Also, if you look at it, Corey, the Chicago Bears are now 10th in the NFL in 3rd down conversion rate. That's a big stat for me right now because for a young offense, making those plays in those moments, Justin Fields picking up those first downs, moving the chains, sustaining drives, getting into the red zone. I think it's just a huge part of the maturation. And then, of course, as you mentioned, 195 rushing yards a game now, Corey. First in the NFL with a bullet. 195 a game. It's been a month now where they put over 200 plus a game. And this all kind of brings me to, before we get to Corey's keys, let's just have a little bit more of a Justin Fields conversation because all of this, I agree with you. Luke Getsy, the creative play calling, The best part about it too is that we know a jet sweep is coming in the game. You just don't know who's getting the jet sweep now, right? And that's smart,
Exactly.
right? We don't know it's always going to be, Mark Trestman would always do it. It'd be like the same dude was going to get the jet sweep at one point, but now it's 5 or 6 other guys. Cole Kmet could possibly get one. But Corey, man, I was texting you on Sunday, all right? And look, this is a little bit of a Bears fan of me, so just sit back for a second. You got to understand something that, in my opinion, I've grown up with a lot of Chicago sports like curses in my life, right? There's been a lot of curses. And you go back and you look at the White Sox, 88 plus years, the Blackhawks, over 50 plus years. We all knew the story with the Cubs. And after Jordan won 6 titles with the Bulls, I'm not complaining. They haven't won in 25 years. So when the Chicago Cubs won that World Series in 2016, what was the final great Chicago curse? The great Chicago Bears quarterback. And I was texting you on Sunday, and I'm not only just drinking the Kool-Aid, man, I'm mainlining it into my veins right now because I was just watching Justin Fields make plays out there. And, man, he's giving me the chills, dude. Like, he really is. The dude's got to stay healthy. And to be honest with you, a lot of people want to give him a hard time because he's running for NFL records with his legs. But, dude, you and I both know that arm strength is there, that he's picking it up right now. And Luke Getsy talks a lot about scheming open lanes for him to be able to read the defense. This isn't standardized 1 lane, 2 lane, 1, 2, 3 look anymore. He's moving the pocket to create space, to create vision for Justin Fields. It's really working for them right now. Just talk a little bit more about that Getsy Fields relationship. And, man, are you getting the chills? I know you've loved Justin Fields for a long time, but now that you're finally seeing it, man, it's just starting to feel really good, right? There's something turning in Chicago, and it could be that great quarterback.
No, Justin Fields is Chicago's finally got their quarterback moment. No, I'm not even kidding.
Yes.
And people say, well, whatever. He's done it 4 weeks in a row, and you could
at a high level.
At a high level with arguably, one of the weakest bunch of offensive tackles. No disrespect to them by any means, right? At all. But with one of the weakest left tackle and right tackle combos in the league, right? Braxton Jones, I think he's talented. He doesn't have enough strength yet, right? Borum has struggled. Brief looked a little bit better. And then look with the weapons too. Claypool just signed, right? Darnell Mooney is not a number 1. He's been a number 2, right? With Cole Kmet really not coming alive until the past couple of weeks. So look what Justin Fields has been able to do with Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy said, let me step back, right? I have been doing a good job of scripting for success for Justin Fields. Let me do my job better, right? Let me do what he's comfortable with. Okay, Justin Fields, and you look at every game, right? When they start, when he gets moving on the run, that's when he starts to get confident. And then all of a sudden, he has that little pep in his step when he gets back to the huddle. And then all of a sudden he get locked in, because confidence is the biggest thing I'm seeing, in the past couple of weeks with Justin Fields. Right. And hats off to Luke Getsy. Like I said, he's doing what he's comfortable with. Right. And then once Justin Fields gets confident, now we're seeing the passing really evolve. Right. The touch on the throws to Cole Kmet that earlier on he missed, to Ryan Griffin, right? Was it?
Right.
Pastor Griffin against the
Commanders.
That same kind of pass to Cole Kmet, put it right on the money, right? He's getting the touch. And then look at this. When the game's on the line, right, he throws it up for Chase Claypool right on the money. Chase Claypool, that's obvious PI all day. My man was doing stuff that's illegal in certain states to him. Come on.
If it was an 8th grade dance, they would have separated him. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They would have
said, "Nah, you need to get back. You're a little too close for comfort." And then on the 4th and 10, he scrambles to the right, on the move, kind of changes the angle of the arm, throws a bullet right on the money to St. Brown, and he drops it. Would have been a first down. So Justin Fields is doing everything he can do, right? He's looking better as a passer. I can only really count one bad throw that he had in that game. But other than that, I mean, I love what he's been able to do. I don't think the NFL has seen a playmaker like this in a while, because people say, "Oh, Lamar Jackson in this." Justin Fields is a better passer than Lamar Jackson, and he hasn't even scratched the surface of what he can be as a passer, right? So I think the league needs to watch out. And that's no disrespect to Lamar Jackson, because I think what he does is unbelievable, what he's been able to do, with his body of work. But Justin Fields, at the end of the day, when we get weapons, when we get an offensive line, we get another year with Luke Getsy, it's going to be scary, Joey. It's really going to be scary.
Because, Corey, here's the thing, right? And you mentioned Lamar Jackson. And look, here's the thing. And this isn't just a Lamar Jackson thing. This isn't exclusive to him. This happens across the NFL. Lamar Jackson's safety valve is Mark Andrews, right? They make beautiful music together on the football field. You go across the NFL, typically you can pair a great quarterback with a player that he can count on at
Mahomes,
any moment.
Kelsey.
Brady, Welker, Gronk, go down the list. Find anybody. Drew Brees, Marcus Colston, Jimmy Graham, on and
Phillip
on and on.
Rivers, yeah.
So right now, Justin Fields is doing this, and I ask you, who is his safety valve right now? Because he doesn't have one, in my opinion. It's not there yet. He doesn't, right? Even Mitch Trubisky had Allen Robinson, right? You know what I mean? So once that happens, once we can find someone, establish someone, look, it could be Darnell Mooney, it could be Chase Claypool, but he just doesn't have that right now. And that's what's so remarkable, I think, about what he's doing is typically you see these guys kind of pepper the same dude over and over again, and that's where they get a lot of success. And Justin Fields is doing it with a complementary amount of pieces, and it's really the ball in his hands, just kind of dishing and realizing, hey, I can pick up 6 yards here whenever I want. Here I can go 3/4 angle. Hey, I can let it up and try and do a deep pass. I mean, it really is. It's so impressive right now. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited to preview a Bears-Lions Week 10 coming up right now with Corey's Keys. Before we do it, though, Corey, I just got to ask you. Now, I'm just having some fun here. But, Corey, we've done about 100-something pods together for a year and a half. What does it feel like to have the Bears coaching staff actually listen to you? What does that feel like?
It feels pretty good.
Is it weird? Does it feel weird?
It feels good, though, because like you said, Joey, everything that I said and we had talked about is starting to come to fruition on offense, right? Rely on the run game, right? Really allow Justin Fields to get on the move, allow him to make plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for him to limit the turnovers. And it's been unbelievable. It's been unbelievable what he's been able to do with a limited cast, with a defense that can't stop a nosebleed. I mean, it's been fun to watch. Like, if we have the defensive component, I think we could be a competitor. I'm not saying that we can go and make a Super Bowl, but I think we could make the playoffs for sure if we had
a mediocre defense, Corey. We would be competing right now.
Only stop the run. That's the only thing I say. Just stopping the run. That's it. Pressure we could dial up, but I'm saying about the minimum, just stop the run, which we haven't been able to do. And we're going to get into the preview of the Detroit Lions because that's going to be, one of my keys there. But real quick about Justin Fields, people get worried that he's going to get hurt or whatever, but he's not the type of quarterback. He's not like a Robert Griffin. He's not like a Michael Vick, a really slim guy that's not really into weightlifting. Justin Fields is 230, 235. He is jacked. He's got a six-pack. He's a big dude. He's got big shoulders, big chest. Like, he's not a small guy, I think people fail to realize that because for myself too, I didn't realize how big he is until you see it. You're like, oh, he's 6'3", 6'4", about 230, 235. Like, he can take some hits. I'm not saying, obviously he's got to be smart about the hits he takes. And I think as the season has gone on, right, from when he first started playing well to now, he's learning, okay, let me get out of bounds right here. Let me slide. Let me be smart about the hits I take. And that's going to be the biggest thing for any quarterback, whether you're a big guy or not, is learning when to take a hit, when not to, right? If you're fighting for a first down when the game's on the line, okay, we're going to take a little risk there. But if it's early on in the game, we're trying to get a first down on third, hey, we're going to be smart here, right? If we're about to take a big hit, hey, let's slide. Let's get out of bounds real quick.
So, Corey, man, I think it's time. It is Week 10. The Chicago Bears are 3-6. The Detroit Lions are 2-6. Who's going to walk out the winner here? Let's find out. Corey, man, what are your keys? What is Corey's keys to a Bears victory on the lakefront in Week 10?
First key is defensive. We must stop the run, right? You look at what the Lions are doing right now. I'm a little bit nervous about this, to be honest, because with Swift and Williams, they are looking at this tape saying, this is how we can win this game. Really get after the run game. They're without, Robert Quinn. They're without Roquan Smith. We can really take advantage of their lack of run defense. So you got to stop the run this week because they're without Hockenson, like I said. So they're really going to try to make an effort to get this running game going, take the pressure off Jared Goff. And in the games, they've done well. They've been in some really close games against some really good teams, right? They've been able to run the football well. And what it did was set up the play action offense. So this week, the defense must stop the run. So Allen Williams, they did better against the Dolphins, but that's not their mantra. Detroit is a tough-nosed football team, right? With Dan Campbell and company, they're charged up. They've been in a lot of games. They could easily have 5 wins at this point. They played the Vikings really tough. They played the Dolphins very tough. So they're a talented football team. So we must stop the run against them if we're going to have any chance.
Corey, look, I think we knew coming into last week against the Dolphins that matchup for our defense versus their offense was going to be tough. And guess what? It was. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they went track meet on us, and they put up 35 points. This week, I know a lot of Bears fans are saying, hey, it's the Lions. Let's see what happens. Our defense should bounce back. This Lions offense, Corey, I'm in agreement with you, is above average, right? I think they played really well in the last month. It hasn't been that great the last couple of weeks, but if you look, they're a top 10 running outfit. And I'm telling you, man, DeAndre Swift, we'll see what happens because he's a walking questionable every single week. But I think Jamal Williams, man, he plays with fire. When he gets the ball in his hands, he runs hard, and he kind of is the heartbeat of that offense right now. I think he could have really, honestly, a huge day. If you're telling me Jamal Williams can get to that second level untouched every single time like this Bears defensive line has been giving up right now, it could be a really tough day. And another thing, too, as well, Corey, whenever we break down the Detroit Lions, we always talk about get pressure on Goff, get him flustered, give him some hits. He's got tiny hands. He'll fumble the ball. Well, Corey, if we're not doing that and Jared Goff can just sit back there in the pocket untouched, he will probably have a good day offensively. Again, I don't know what matchup is advantageous for this Bears defense right now, but even just because it's the Lions Bears fans, I'm telling you, man, this Lions offense, they can score points on our defense for sure.
Yeah, my second key is another defense. It's going to be getting pressure on Goff. The pressure has been pretty much non-existent this season, even when Kuhn was there. Roquan Smith was kind of the bright spot when they were able to blitz with him along with the defensive lineman. But how are we going to get pressure on Jared Goff, right? Alan Williams, we need your best call because this, in my opinion, is a trap game, right? Everyone's thinking the Bears should win based on how Justin Fields. But like I said, the Lions have been in a lot of close games, and what they do well is what we don't do well defensively. So if we're going to stop the run with my first key, the next step is, hey, let's put the pressure on Jared Goff because the Bears have shown, even when he played for the Rams, when you heat him up, he throws, he gets scared, he throws errant balls, he gets quick with everything. So if we can get the pressure on him, that's going to be the next key. So Alan Williams, how are you going to dial up that blitzing package because we haven't got home with 4. So what are you going to do? You're going to bring a linebacker off the edge. You're going to bring Jaquan Brisker. We're going to bring a corner.
Yeah, that's my follow-up, Corey. What would you do, Corey? What would you do? Would you pick your spots and bring, Jaquan Brisker in as a heat-seeking missile? What would you do to dial that up?
Yeah, so I would disguise things, right? So on certain packages where Brisker has the tight end one-on-one, I'd have him blitz. And then have Eddie Jackson or a linebacker covering that line.
Sanborn, yeah,
exactly. So we're kind of disguising. It looks like he's got him one-on-one. Then all of a sudden he comes off the edge, and then he's potentially one-on-one. Just on Jared Goff, and we can get a free hitter in there. Jared Goff has to make a quick throw. If he doesn't, he gets hit, he gets sacked. So things like that. Maybe bring a corner on a blitz like Vildor or Gordon off the edge. We just really have to disguise something. And then with the front 4, we got to start running some games. Too much straight rush for a team that hasn't proven that they can win with just straight rush, right? I want to see some tango games with the defensive tackles where the one tackle goes first, the other tackle goes around. I want to see an exit game where the defensive end comes up and then comes inside and picks the guard, then the tackle fits off him. I want to see a Texas game where the defensive end gets up the field along with the tackle shoots the B gap and stops and then comes underneath. We need some more of that because we have to disguise things because we're not running great with that front 4 rush.
Just off the top of my head, Corey, outside of Justin Jones and Dom Robinson, because he got drafted, not a talent thing, he got drafted, so he's probably coming back next year. Who else on this Bears defensive line will be on the Bears next year outside of those 2 names, in your opinion right now?
The only one I could potentially see is Travis Gibson because of what he did early on. But since then, he hasn't really done much, to be honest.
And he's not their guy. He's not their guy, Corey.
No, exactly. Yeah. So if he doesn't pick it up, if he starts flashing like we saw last year, early on in this year, the year before, then he could potentially be here next year. But if he's playing like he has the past couple of weeks, he will not be here next year 100%. So it's going to be interesting because now you have the shot not only for this team, but you're auditioning for other teams as well. So why not? You have the starting role right now. So ball out. Do what you need to do to get noticed. He's talented. It's a matter of taking that next step. So I want to see him really emerge in these next couple of weeks as our best defensive lineman, edge rusher. So I want to see what he can do.
Yeah, and it just really continues to highlight the Larry Ogunjobi situation of the offseason really quick. The fact that they weren't able, he failed his physical, and they weren't able to get a deal done, but clearly they earmarked him as a guy that can come in and anchor a defensive line that they knew was going to be in transition.
Exactly.
And when they weren't able to sign him long term, they just decided to punt and wait for another year. You know, I understand the move, Corey, but I just want to kind of throw it out there real quick that I hope that this is an instructive lesson for Ryan Poles moving forward. What's happened with this defensive line this year, where, look, I don't want to be critical of him because we're feeling really good about the Chicago Bears right now and the direction moving forward, but the way that he constructed the defensive line in the offseason, in my opinion, it smacked a little bit of arrogance, right? Of, I can go out there and I can pay pennies on the dollar and I can shop at the bottom shelf and make this delicious meal for the defensive line and not actually, put actual resource. I can trade a Khalil Mack. I could say goodbye to Akeem Hicks. I can bring Robert Quinn in and trade him midway through the season because I'm Ryan Poles and I'll find talent anywhere. I just hope that this is an instructive lesson, Corey, and you're the former defensive lineman that you've talked a lot about not just talent, but it's execution, right? You can't just throw these guys out there. And I'm just kind of curious to see how they attack that in the offseason because it's coming. There's a huge overhaul coming for the defensive line, and I hope we see 4 or 5 new guys, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see about five new guys, right? I think 3 defensive ends at least.
2 draft, 3 technique, and
3 technique, and then Justin Jones maybe could slide at nose potentially. Because in this Tampa too, you want a quicker guy at the nose as well, which he's strong enough to play it, in my opinion. And if we get a true stud at a 3 technique, a guy that can get off the football, that's athletic, that kind of runs in that 4.8, 4.9, really explosive. I think that's really what's going to get this defensive line going. Because you look at the teams that have done well. Like I always look at the Giants, right, in 07 and 11, how they won the Super Bowl, right? Yeah, their offense was okay, but their defensive line was dominant, right? When Strahan was in there on his last year, right? What they were able to do with Tuck and O.C. Minora.
Dominant and deep.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how you win championships, in my opinion, right? Especially with a young quarterback trying to get his bearings, is really establishing. You want a dominant defensive line. So that's how I've always thought you win games is by a dominant defense and offensive line. You control the line of scrimmage and you have some playmakers there, especially offensively, what they're going to continue to do. But if we can get some dominant defensive linemen and this offense continues to flourish with more weapons and a better offensive line, I'm telling you that the Bears could easily win 10+ games next year and be a real contender if they surround this team with enough talent. And I'm just trusting Poles, because he has a plan for what he wants to do. He wants to acquire as much draft pick and as much capital as possible, which I'm fine with, right? This year is going to be tough defensively, but next year, if they struggle defensively, that's on him, right? So we got to just trust the process and allow him to do that, right? The biggest thing is Justin Fields is becoming what we thought he could become. So that's the great part about it. Defensively, but look at Jaquan Brisker, look at Gordon, how he's been improving every game. So the guys he drafted are doing well, right? After Gordon's starting pretty slowly. So I like with that. But next year, I think we can really evaluate him based off what he did in the offseason and how they perform during the season. That'll be a real litmus test for Ryan Poles.
And he also correctly, I don't think it was luck. I think they did the work, and they thought that, with Jaquan and Brisker back there, Eddie Jackson could be unleashed again. And that has happened. He's got 4 interceptions this year. He's playing like a Pro Bowl player again, and that part has worked out too as well. And, Corey, we all know that there's a lot of work to do. But, again, stay the course, all that good stuff, trust the process. But I want them to really – you got to really dig in on what this team really, really needs, and it's defensive linemen. And you're right, man, if the defense isn't better next year, you could probably point that finger a little bit at Eberflus, too, as well, even though I do like the Flus big time. Corey, I want to throw a quick key at you, and then we're going to get you another Corey's key. This just feels like a fumbles game to me. This is a turnover situation. Over the last 3 games, Chicago Bears averaging 2 fumbles a game. Detroit Lions, 1.7. That's top 5 in the NFL for both those teams. I talk a lot about Jared Goff protecting the football. The Chicago Bears, I just want them to protect the football, man. If Justin Fields throws an interception, that's one thing. But fumbles, man, they're killing these drives. And I'm telling you, I'm not so big on wins and losses this year, but I do want to see in one of these crazy shootout games, Justin Fields get one. You know what I mean? And he's been driving down the field, and whether it is a fumble by Smith Marset, or whether it is a PI penalty, or maybe it's a David Montgomery fumble when we're trying to come back in a Dallas Cowboys game. There's something that's happening there. So I think protecting the football is going to be huge this week. I'm not going to step on my final score, but I do think we're going to be trading scores a little bit this week. So one of those turnovers can just take a possession away from possibly getting points on the board, and I think that's huge. Corey, give us another key to a Bears win in Week 10.
So my last and final key is I want to see some more shots from Justin Fields deep. Right, I want to see him get Claypool involved. Right, he's trying to figure out the offense, but hey, let's see you take a shot with the streak with Claypool. On the goal line, let's see a fade route, right, where you put it only he can get it. I want to see some of these shots deep, right after Justin Fields scrambles for a first down. Get up to the line real quick, hard play action, and take a shot. Take a 50, 60-yard bomb.
Love that.
Right, only where he can get it. Kind of like in the Cowboys game, right? How he started off right off the bat, a bomb to St. Brown, I think it was, and he was
And Corey, really quick, didn't you feel like that they went kind of pass heavy early in the Dolphins game a little bit to try and throw them off the scent? There was kind of a subversion, right? Of like, let's kind of get the passing going. Yeah.
Exactly. So hats off to Getsy, right? He's done a great job of disguising things. Early on, you kind of knew what they were doing, but now he's giving you different looks out of the gun. Then we're giving you some different things. We're working the play action out of it.
Cole Kmet direct snap.
Exactly. So we're seeing a lot of that. But I want to see some shots deep, right? Because Justin Fields, right, 129 yards. Yeah, that's cool. He's been efficient, but I just want to see some more down the field stuff. Take some shots, right? Only where your guy can get it. So I think once they can do that and we can get the deep ball going, everything short and intermediate, he's pretty comfortable with right now. That's the kind of the last remaining piece for Justin Fields, getting him confident. Because if he can finish the rest of the season being confident in every area, running the football, the reads, the short and intermediate throws, the play action, and now the shots deep, all of a sudden we have him primed and ready to go next year with the weapons, with the offensive line, with a better defense. I'm telling you, this team could be scary if Poles and company really drafts and acquires the right people in free agency.
I'm going to go a step further because this is my final key to a Bears victory in Week 10. Corey, this isn't scientific. This isn't football analysis at its finest. But can we just play with a lead for a little while in this game? Like, nice. Seriously, man, and you could talk about it as a player of what it's like always being behind in a game over the last, over the last 40 or what is that, the last 60 minutes or 120 minutes that we've played of football, I think we've been leading in less than 10 minutes of it. We took a 3-0 lead against the Dolphins, and from them we were playing catch-up the whole time. The exact same situation with the Dallas Cowboys. And I love seeing Justin Fields score on offense, but once he scores, you go, oh, crap, the Bears' defense has to come back out. And then they let up a score, and you go, man, can Justin keep coming? And he does keep coming, right? But at some point, man, I want to see what it looks like when we play with a lead. I want to see Justin Fields on the field, maybe extending a lead possibly. And can you just talk about it? What's it like being on a team, I don't know, let's say, maybe those Trestman teams towards the tail end there. What is just like kind of always feeling like you're sort of climbing up that hill a little bit, not to do a Kate Bush reference or anything like that, but what is that like? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so my last year playing for the Bears, 2013, that's when Trestman was the head coach. And we kind of flip-flop, right? The year before, defense was a strong suit. Offense really struggled. And we did a complete 180. It was like the defense was struggling and the offense was performing well. So offense would go down and score. And it was very similar to how things are going right now with this Bears team, right? Offense is really getting things going the past couple of weeks. And defensively, we couldn't stop a nosebleed. So it's always tough because there's so much pressure on you. And what you're doing is wrong, right? You're not in the right gap. Guys are not there. You're not doing the things you should, the discipline. You're not getting off the football. You're not running to the football the same. But it's like stuff creeps in. And that's what I think defensively for this team. Stuff is creeping in. Yeah. And that's why you see it. I know they have limited talent, but like I told you, stopping the run, that's a non-negotiable, Joey. Like, we could get guys off the street to do that. I'm telling you, I'll go out there right now, and this is no cap about it. I will give you run stopping plays right now. I'm not kidding you.
Yeah,
right?
I don't doubt it.
100%, right? But the pass rush stuff, I don't know. These knees, I don't know if they're set up for that anymore. But stopping the run, I mean, Rob Marinelli always said that, right? I can find guys off the street that can stop the run. And I think the same thing is right. We don't have notable players. We don't have this. It's all about attitude and want to, right? And I'm not seeing enough of that, right? Justin Jones has been kind of the sole guy on the defensive line that I've been seeing getting penetration, getting in the backfield. But other than that, Al-Qadim Muhammad, he's been pretty non-existent this season. Travis Gibson has flashed at times. Dominique Robinson, it's his first year. I didn't really have expectations for him. He's flashed at times, but hey, he's a young guy, so I don't really have much from him. But we have to stop the run. That's a non-negotiable. And I brought up the point. We should have a backup 3 technique play the point of attack run, on base downs, right? When it's obvious rushing situations based on personnel, you sub in, right? That's what coaches look at, right? They look at, okay, they're in 21 personnel. They're in 12 personnel. Okay, they're more likely to run into this. Okay, let's sub them in, right? Let's get the 3 technique at the 5 right now. Let's have him play the point of attack run. And he'll play against the tight end, and he'll kick the shit out of him. And then all of a sudden, we're knocking the run out. So that's how it goes. That's how you have to do it. I just don't understand why they haven't made that adjustment, right? Because we're not really. If they run a play action, they run a play action. You just tell them push the pocket. That's it.
Be honest. Are they too wedded to their philosophy? Are they too wedded to scheme and philosophy a little bit, Corey? I mean, that happens. First year coach.
100%. I think they might be just wanting to see and evaluate who's going to be here next year. I think that's really what it comes down to. And they want to see, hey, is he going to come alive in this? We want to give him as many reps as possible to get comfortable. And they have to know, who's going to be here and who's going to be playing next year if they are here. So, I hear you. So I get that. But my thing is like that. As long as you're playing games in this NFL, it's all on tape, right? So what you're doing every week, teams are like, okay, we can really exploit this. And you don't want to be that team that every week people are like, oh, we can gash them. We can gash them.
Oh, we're that team, Corey. That
was 2013.
Right now, man.
That was 2013, and it was embarrassing. I just remember being embarrassed after majority of games. Like, we suck. Like, we can't stop anybody, and it's so hard. It's so frustrating, and you just got to feel you're like, the offense is going, and we can't even do anything. It's just you never want to be in a position like that.
No, you can see it. I mean, they're trying, right? But they got to have a little sense of helplessness to it, and the confidence is down right now. And unfortunately, they just don't have the horses to kind of have someone get picked up. And you talk about a guy like Dom Robinson. We shouldn't be banking on Dom Robinson. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a guy, as you mentioned, needs to just get snaps and reps and learn. The fact that we're even in the situation of seeing whether he can flash or not. I mean, it's tough, man. And I think that's going to lead us right into our Bears' final score for Week 10. We nailed the Dolphins last week. We got it wrong with the Cowboys the week before. Let's do what we do this week. Corey, man, do you want to go first? How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Bring it.
So I have this one being another shootout. To be honest with you, yep. I don't think our defense can stop their offense. But I think Justin Fields is going to have another strong performance. I think Claypool is going to be another week in this system. He's going to feel a little more comfortable. They're going to take some shots to him. Mooney's really going to have another good game. Cole Kmet. I think the rushing offense is going to be the same. Justin Fields is going to have some scrambles, some zone reads, some design runs. And Khalil Herbert is going to have another really good game. And Montgomery's going to grind him out, get you those short yardage situations, catch some out of the backfield. We're going to put up some points, but defensively, we just can't stop them. So I think it's going to be 34-31 Bears winning, but it comes down to a final drive situation like last week. And I think Justin Fields is going to come through and lead them to victory.
Corey, I went on a Detroit Lions podcast the other day. They asked me for my final score. I got off the phone and I was like, did I really just say that score out loud? And I said, yeah, I did. And I was thinking about, and I was, no. And I was thinking like, should I walk it back a little bit? But you know what, Corey, the more I think about it, the more I'm not going to walk it back, because if you look at it right now, the Detroit Lions, they're giving up 268 passing yards a game. That's 29th in the NFL. Over their last 3 games, 289 in their last 3 games, also worse than the NFL. Look, the Lions defense is just as bad as the Bears defense. That is what's going to be interesting. The only difference is the Chicago Bears have Justin Fields, and he's on a heater right now, and he is ascending. It is at home. It's against the Detroit Lions. I said it on there. I'm going to say it again, Corey. 41-38. The Chicago Bears win.
Yeah.
Dude, buddy, sky's the limit, right?
Let's go.
I don't have any faith in either of these defenses right now. Yeah. And I think the Lions have been playing pretty decent offensive football this year. And I think Jamal Williams is a good football player. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to give us some problems. And if you're the Chicago Bears right now, there is no reason why we're going to run all over this Detroit Lions team. We really, really are. And if there is a situation where if they get up, they're going to let us back in the game. I think that Aaron Rodgers thing is a totally different situation right now. We don't even play. We're not even speaking the same language of their offense right now. We're doing something completely different. I think Justin Fields stays hot. At this point now, Justin Fields is so hot right now. Before we get out of here, Corey, give us a stat line. We haven't done this in a long time. But what are you thinking for Justin Fields? Passing yards, rushing yards, and passing touchdowns, running touchdowns. What are you thinking?
Yeah. So I think this week Justin Fields has 220 yards passing at least.
Damn it, you went over. I was gonna go over too. This is the week he goes over. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 105 yards rushing, and I'm gonna say 1 rushing touchdown, 4 passing this week.
Wow, I love that. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I see. I'm thinking 5 touchdowns for the Chicago Bears in this game. I can't even believe I'm saying it out loud, but it's true. This is where we're at. I was thinking about 210 passing for Justin Fields. I do like Darnell Mooney. I love that Chase Claypool call. I think at least 1 bomb down the field to him. I think that's going to work out this week. And then I'm thinking somewhere probably like 82 rushing yards. So I'm probably more in like the 290 all-purpose. But again, that 290 is going to go a long way. And that's what this NFL is learning about Justin Fields is 128 passing. It hurts a little bit more than other people's 128 passing. Am I right? And when you put that, when you match it with that 178, that's still in the 290 area. And you know what? He's a dominant football in the NFL right now. And so I'm thinking about 80 rushing yards. I'm thinking about 210 passing. And I'm with you, man. I do think I was going to go 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing, and I think David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert's going to punch in another score. But this is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. Chicago Bears, it is Justin Fields' team. The offense, the ball is in his hands. He is making plays, and honestly, just soak up the stats. He's on 2 of my fantasy teams, Corey. It might completely turn my season around. See you later, Dak Prescott. I got a new guy, and he's JF1.
JF1 in the building, man. It's fun to see. So I'm just excited to continue to see his ascension in the NFL as one of the rising stars, because it's fun to watch. And I don't think the NFL has seen a quarterback like this in a while. A guy that has the arm of some of the greats, right? And he hasn't honed it quite into what he needs passing wise, but hey, that'll come. It's only his 2nd year here. But what he can do rushing the football is unbelievable with his build, and what he can do as a playmaker is unbelievable to watch. And I think all of the league, all of the fans have noticed, and they know Justin Fields means business, and he's going to be a force in this league. So it's exciting. It's exciting to watch. And I think Bears fans, I've said this multiple times, he hasn't even scratched the surface of what he can be. So look what he's doing with this limited roster, with the limited weapons, a horrible defense. Imagine when he actually gets weapons, a good offensive line, and a great defense. I'm telling you, Justin Fields will be a top 5 quarterback in this league. I'm telling you, if you put the weapons with him, dude, and you have a great defense and a great offensive line, I'm telling you, he will be a top 5 quarterback in this league. Mark my words. I believe it.
Yeah, maybe my final thought on this is, Corey, you took the word right out of my mouth. Is my favorite part about all this right now is, when we talk about the great Chicago Bears quarterback, I think, you want the Jim McMahon with the aviator shades and the party boy style, or you want some great, interesting personality after games. And look, I'm not trying to knock Justin Fields. This is a compliment. Justin Fields is all business all the time. You know what I mean? And I start to think about it a little bit more about this Eberflus thing. And you know what? That's what Matt Eberflus is. Matt Eberflus is all business all the time. That's what Ryan Poles is. All business all the time. It's not really jokes, and it's not, you know what I mean? They do have the hits principle, but, it's just different from Matt Nagy and separate and different kinds of coaches. And I like it, man. If my Chicago Bears quarterback is going to be all business, and that business is winning football games and maybe winning me some Super Bowls, I'm all for it, man. You don't need to smile, dude. I do not care. Just be the man. What does Greg Bragg say on CHGO? He is him. Have you heard that yet?
He is him. He is
I like
him.
That. He is him.
No, he is. It's so fun to watch. So I'm excited and looking forward to another week, and hopefully we can get this win. So I think it's a critical game just for the NFC North and the future of what both teams are doing. I'm not expecting us, to make the playoffs. Who knows what may happen, but I think just with the way our defense is, it's not happening, right? The offense has played well enough the past couple of weeks where we should be having more wins than we have now. But just excited for Justin Fields' progress. That's the biggest thing. This season is all about him, and I think the past couple of weeks have been that. And like you said, how many games is he going to be an impact where you leave the game like, wow, Justin Fields really did well?
I'm at 5 now, Corey. Yeah, I'm at 5. We wanted 7 to 10. We're at 5 with 9 to go.
Exactly. So I think it tells you everything you need to know. So Bears fans, you have your quarterback of the future. Just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Sit back and enjoy the ride, and come check us out every single week here on Believe in Bears. I'm Joey Christopoulos. We got to get out of here. My co-host, former Bears, Chicago Bears defensive end, CHGO's very finest, and Fox 32's The Brew and View on Sundays. If you're in Chicago, go find Corey Wotton. Go watch a Bears victory, maybe some JF1 football, and slam back some soda water with him on the weekends, and have yourselves a great time. Today's episode is presented by BetOnline.ag. A 100% welcome bonus when you use promo code BLEAV, BLEAV. You cannot pass up that deal, only if you use that promo code BLEAV. Corey, man, great to see you. The season's kind of taking a turn, right? We're not winning games, but we're getting excited. Yeah. All the more reason to come check out Believe in Bears here, either on the Believe YouTube channel, TuneIn Radio, SiriusXM, Apple Podcasts, Believe.com. Just type it in, Believe in Bears, Corey Wotton, you'll find us. Come check us out. Thank you so much for listening to this pod. Be well, be safe. Please be good to each other. Hey, it's Bears-Lions this weekend. You better bear down.
Bear down, baby.
Come on, Motor City Kitties. You have no idea what's coming for you. JF1, that's what.
Let's go.
Let's go.